Today we have Bhagya. So she is a talent acquisition specialist at Intuit. She has a vast experience, and I think she has more than 10 plus years of experience. She has worked at Flipkart, she has worked at Moengage, and like she has worked on different companies, starting from the startup to the MNCs to, we can say, the companies like Intuit, right? I think a few of the things that you talked about is awesome. Like you cannot fake yourself on the just the time of the interview, or when you are talking to a normal developer who's taking an interview, or a VP or a EM, basically, right? Or you are a different person
Absolutely.
when you are talking with the HR, and now you are a different person altogether when you are talking with a different panel. So this is quite interesting, and I hope the people who are watching this is very, very important. If you have your identity, right, let's not fake this, because people are tracking that, right? And if you have a difference in your identity in different round, then that is something which is a fake, and people will be easily able to catch. And other interesting thing that you talked
Absolutely.
about, like some people lose the hope when they see one of the round didn't go well. But as you talked about, there's a debrief, right? You still have a chances where, if your other rounds go very well and other people are vouching for you, and there is some delta in the rounds, basically, that didn't go well, right? So as you said, people can talk about, people can raise a voice for you, people, even I have seen as one important factor where most of the time your HM, basically hiring manager, asks, is the gap that you find in one of the interview round, can we fill that, how soon we can fill that, is a candidate able to cover up or learn those things, that the gaps that a candidate have, right? Those are, I think, the point that you covered is like awesome. I think this is very cool. So okay, so now, what is your thought? Like, I have seen there are some hiring drives which goes on, right? There are one-to-one interviews, basically, which goes on. Like, what's your say? Like, what is better and which one should you opt? Because personally speaking, I have gone through the hiring drive experience also in the same company, and the one-to-one, you can say, interviews. For me, it was two different experience altogether, and as an outcome also for me it was different. But I just wanted to hear, like, from the HR perspective, how things varies, basically.
Okay. So both have different flavors, from experience point of view, and as well as outcome is what I personally have seen. So, see, in hiring drives, what happens? One of the advantage of hiring drives is you have a quicker result, right?
Yeah.
So you have all the process completing on a single day, and you have result either end of the day or the following Monday, or whatever is the
Right.
earliest date, right? So in one-on-one discussions, what happens? So the final outcome may vary the time, like I discussed in the previous. So it may vary from 24 hours to 3 days to 4 days as well. So that way, hiring drives are best in a way, right?
Yeah.
And coming to the other aspects, like I favor one-on-one over hiring drives when it comes to confidentiality of you exploring opportunities, right? See,
Yeah.
I have had experiences where so there were multiple people working on a common drive, and there is a larger number of higher number of positions, and you may bump into your colleague, while companies should ensure that you're not inviting people from the same company,
True.
right? Which should be taken care of. But now in the virtual world, that may not be the case.
Yeah.
But when those days when we used to conduct drives in person, so that would be challenging, right? So the other point about hiring drives, which I have more inclination towards one-on-one discussion, is that the time spent during the day. So you may have a lot of waiting period between the interview rounds,
True.
right? Whereas in one-on-one discussions, you have a focused, people dedicated to meet you on a particular day, and at what time your interview is starting. But in
Yeah.
hiring drives, because see, no matter how well or perfectly planned hiring drive it is,
Yeah.
it can never happen on time, right? So
Yeah.
candidate might come late, or log in late, or there can be technical issues, or a previous discussion from the interviewer spent longer than the stipulated assessment time. So a lot of things come into factor, right? So that way I favor one-on-one interviews that way. And also I would say interviewers might also go through what do I say, back to back interview fatigue as well, because when in the morning they may have very high energy, they are assessing candidates also, in a right mindset, and in the second half, whomever they are meeting, there might be it depends, right? So interviewer mood also has contribute to how you are performing in the interview, and
Right.
especially if you have waited like 2 hours for a single interview, so you may have lost your energy, or you may not be as energetic as you are, right? So both has their pros and cons, but in my personal view, especially when you are at a certain stage of career, it's better to go for a one-on-one is what I recommend. But yeah, so it depends on the candidate's comfort as well.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is very, very true. I remember a day where, like, it happened in one of the case where I was part of, you can say, interview panel, and all of a sudden there was a freeze in terms of we got the candidate, how many candidate basically we were looking for, and all of a sudden it was said bye bye to the other candidate, and it didn't feel good, right? You actually waited for 3 hours or 4 hours basically, and that too when you are experienced, you have a lot of commitments, right? And all of a sudden there
Right.
is a wind up, okay, we are done for the day, and people who are sitting for 3 hours, like, dude, what to do now? Right? You should have informed me. But these
Right.
things do happen in sometimes in the hiring drive. But again, the chances, as you said, sometimes when you have hiring drive, then there is a bulk hiring going around, right? That is one
Right.
major advantage, and you have a time duration within a day. Basically, most of the time you have to basically either select or reject a candidate, right? So if that day is good for you and if you're performing well, right, your chances to get a conversion is also high.
I just to add one more point to this hiring drive versus one-on-one discussions, right? So the most importantly, if the decision is not happening on the spot, right? Or once candidate has completed all the rounds of interview, and if they are not catching up for short like quick debrief, if all the candidates are debriefed at once, from a hiring drive, right? So there can be confusion between which candidate, if at all interviewer could not make sufficient notes, right? So they may forget the faces because too many faces, and one day it's hard to remember even the candidate names for that matter. So unless you have made proper notes from each conversation, you will not be able to represent the candidate rightfully, and there might be some misses as well.
I think you
Can't
don't
deny
have
on that.
for that. That is a very important point that you have just said. It's like whenever you go for a hiring drive, make sure you leave an impact in the interviewer's mind so that he can recognize
Right.
your face very well when he is going in a debrief or any such discussion. So whoever is
Definitely.
watching, please make sure you leave a mark on the interviewer's brain.